The Life in 5 podcast is proudly presented by Southland Shopping Centre in South Penrith. It's my local and a true community favourite. It's got everything you need in one easy stop. It's got good food, all of the everyday essentials, and plenty of local businesses doing it right. Whether you're sorting dinner, knocking over the weekly shop, or just chasing a good coffee, Southlands makes it easy. Do yourself a favour and swing by Southland Shopping Centre. It's local, convenient, in the heart of South Penrith, and tell them MG sent you. You married here, single, with, like, what was your status?
Still young single fella.
So how'd you go?
Well, that took about 5 minutes.
Is it as profound as they all say? Like they go, 80,000 condoms were used. And how many did you use?
That's in the athletes' village.
Yeah, but what about the reporters' village?
The media village is even bigger and better.
Well, welcome back to our second season here on Life in 5. Wow, who to thank? The podcast where we speak to some of the biggest names in sports, entertainment and the media. And I'm MG, and this week's guest has done it all when it comes to sports reporting and coverages. Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, V8 Supercars, NRL, AFL and everything in between. And after nearly 2 decades with the face of sport on Channel 7's Sunrise program, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to Life in 5 one of the best blokes in the world, Mark Beretta.
MG, good to see you, mate. Thank you. What an intro. Wow.
We go way back.
We do go a long way back to what, 2000, 2001, 2002. You were doing rugby league for us on Sunrise at the time. There was Georgie Gardner and I. Paul Salmon was doing AFL. Mate, they were great. They were seriously great days. We had some major fun.
I'll tell you how that came about. I was doing something for C91.3 when I retired from, obviously, radio, from TV. When I retired from footy, you don't know what you're going to do. And I had no plan B. So I went down to C91.3 and they said, do you want to do this? And I said, yep. And then someone from Sunrise heard me on the radio and they rang up and said, do you want to come and do like a preview review for us? And so there it was. And I remember Big Fish. I never used to see him because I was in Sydney, he was in Melbourne.
That's right.
And then one day I was in Melbourne and I went to surprise him and he's 7 foot tall.
He's a big unit.
Wow.
Yeah. And a good bloke. I mean, you were both outstanding. You're great talent. You're both, you know the game, you love the game. You're both fresh from playing. It was really good. And there was just that chemistry. And as you know, in the media, chemistry is like the X factor.
Oh, yeah.
If you can find it, and it's rare. It's brilliant. But, you guys just hit it off. You got each other's jokes, and we had a lot of fun. It was a real highlight. I think every Monday, Friday morning we had a chat was just awesome.
You've been busy of late. You've been busy and, well, not so busy because your 3 a.m. alarms are no more. After, nearly 30 years at Channel 7 and 20 years on Sunrise program, or 25.
Yeah.
That 3 a.m. alarm is no more. What have you been doing?
A lot. Yeah, I should have been sleeping in. But it's hard.
You can't.
No, you can't. Well, you'd know.
Your body clock is forever. I physically can't sleep past 5:30 a.m.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm a 4:30 at the moment. So I'm hoping it'll come back, but I don't think it will. But I don't mind. It's actually good. I like getting up in the morning and doing something. So this morning I went for a bike ride at 4:30, which was great. We got our Tour de Cure bike ride coming up from Canberra to Hobart in March. So I'm getting ready for that. And I just bounce up and do things, and it's actually been busy. Straight away, once I finished up with 7 on the 12th of December 2025, took a couple of weeks down in Tassie, which was an awesome reset. Went mountain bike riding at a place called Blue Derby, which was just gorgeous, and then did a thing called the Three Capes Walk, where you walk for 4 days along the west coast of Tassie. And it was just mind-blowingly beautiful. Like, that place is just incredible.
I had my honeymoon in Tasmania, but there wasn't much bike riding done.
We'll get to that later.
Well, let's go straight to your photos without any further ado. Your first photo you sent through, this is, wow, oh my goodness. Robert De Castella, you're in the middle, and the great Bruce McAvaney. Where was this? Why does this make Mark Beretta's 5 photos?
Okay, so this was the Atlanta Olympic Games in 1996, my first Olympic Games. I was so in awe. Like, I'm a young kid who's just walked through the door at 7. I think I'm in my first year. I'm working
this
alongside...
This is 30 years ago.
Yeah, isn't that bizarre? Yeah. So I'm working alongside these 2 legends, and I just couldn't help but interrupt them to grab a photo. It was just great. It was a magic night. I think that might have actually been the night Kathy Freeman ran the 400 metres, got the silver medal that night. Behind the French girl, Jose Marie Perec. Correct.
And then 4 years later, just for the side note, Perec booted off.
That's right. She turned up in Sydney and ran away before the race.
Yes.
So that was bizarre. But yeah, gosh, that gives me goosebumps, that photo. So many good memories. Your first Olympic Games as a reporter just blows you away. Like, there's nothing like it. It's Sandy Roberts, another Seven commentator, said to me one day, and he'd been to a few, right? Just
Sandy.
before, legend of a bloke. Just before we went to Atlanta, I said to Sandy, what do I expect? What's it like? He said, mate, it's like 2 grand finals every day for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And that was an understatement. That's what it is, because it's a major world event, or 2 or 3 every day for those 2 weeks. And the whole world's watching.
What was your edit? What did you cover? What was your, because I know I spoke to James Bracey last year, and he said the same thing. I think Beijing was his first, and he had a photo of Usain Bolt, and he said the same thing. Like, your first Olympic Games, you can't be, it's like having a kid. You can't be prepared to what it's going to be like.
It's true.
So what, did you call any like obscure sports, or were you mainly there to report back to Channel 7?
So first one, I was there as a reporter for 7 for the broadcast. So who did I interview? Oh, mate, you would have loved it. So about the first or second night, they sent me to this US Olympic event. So all the great US Olympians are there. I talked to Sugar Ray Leonard.
Michael Johnson.
Bruce Jenner. Yep, Bruce Jenner when he was Bruce Jenner.
Caitlin,
And Muhammad Ali was in the room. And I chased him around to try and get a chat with Muhammad Ali, but it didn't happen. But, that was just to be in the room was pretty special. But it was bizarre. Pam Shriver, the tennis superstar, everywhere you looked was like a legend of world sport, and it was an incredible night. So that was my introduction to the Olympic Games. And then day after day, there was always something big. I got to be on the pool deck the day that Kieran Perkins swam his 1,500 metres, got the gold medal from lane 8.
That's right.
And he just scraped into the final, and everyone thought there's no way known he's going to do any good here. And sure enough, bang, he just blew him away. And I was, from about me to you, was John Carew, his coach. And I just watched John Carew with a little tear coming down his eye. And I said, mate, this is magnificent.
Yeah, great. Well, we were in, I was playing for the Western Reds, and we were at training when it happened, and we all stopped training to watch that race. So everyone knew kind of where they were when Kieran Perkins won from lane 8. And so what about were you married here, single? What was your status?
Still young single fella.
So how'd you go?
Well, that took about 5 minutes.
Is it as profound as they all say? Like, they go, 80,000 condoms were used. And how many did you use?
So, that's in the athletes' village.
Yeah, but what about the reporters' village?
The media village is even bigger and better. I had a wonderful time and great memories, MG. Let's just say that.
I know I don't expect you to, but like, I mean,
it's a fun time.
Yeah. Is it kind of like a Kentucky tour?
Yeah, very much so. Particularly when you're that age that I was. It was beyond belief what was happening. Like, we'd go out at night. Luke Longley was commentating basketball for 7. So Luke would take us out at night. And there'd be all these Chicago Bulls teammates there. And a bloke called Evander Holyfield who could box all right.
Wow.
And they're just in this roped off area, and Luke would take us in, and it was just, you couldn't even comprehend what was going on. It was just unbelievable. It was so much fun.
Well, that's your first photo. Do you obviously, over your period of the last 30 years, have you sat back and reflected and pinched yourself about exactly how great a life you've led?
Only recently. I think, what it's like when you're doing it, you don't stop, you don't think. No. But having stepped away now and having some time over Christmas, I've gone just, wow. That I would never have dreamed. 13 Olympic Games I got, 2 summer and winter.
What?
Yeah, unbelievable. And I thought if I could ever get to 1 would be fantastic. But, the people I've been able to speak to, the friends I've made, the whole experience. And, you know what it's like now. You walk down the street and people say g'day, and it's just, it's the most wonderful thing. It's really nice, and people are kind. And
well, you're a wholesale, figure. You've been on one of the most popular shows in the morning for 25 years.
Yeah.
So people relate.
But you don't think of it like that. You don't. It's just a job. You do your job and you try to do it as well as you can, and you try to do it better every day than you did yesterday. But you don't stop and think, well, what have I been able to do? And I look back at things like the Tour de Cure bike ride we've been able to get up and running. That sort of started from scratch in Sunrise. Adam Boland, who was our producer at the time,
yes.
Adam said, look, you can go and do it and report every morning from where you are. And, we'll talk about it. And that's now a $158 million charity. It generated $158 million so far, does about $26 million a year for cancer research.
Well,
and it's a major funder of cancer research in this country. So super proud of that, but that would never have happened without this whole Sunrise thing.
Your profile, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's someone who is dirty, but Luke Boner. You won't be ringing him every morning at 3.
We used to have great chats.
I know. I used to drive when I was doing the Triple M brekkie. I would drive in, hear you on the radio with him, and then I'd bring you up and say, "Wait, what about me? Give me a buzz, you bastard."
But gee, we had an incredible time, and I didn't realise how big that overnight audience is.
Massive.
Like the amount of people, and I would find if I was getting on a plane, flight crews had to get up early. They listened on the way in. Truckies, massive. Anyone who ever drove a truck listened to Luke Boner.
First responders, and all around Australia.
Absolutely, it was really good, and credit to him. And Luke's good. He does that so well.
Oh, I love him.
But we had some good times. And he was relentless, Luke Boner. And he'd ring me when we were in Tokyo at the Olympics or we're somewhere around the world, and I'd get a call in the middle of the night. I'd say, look, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, mate. I'm trying to catch some sleep, but we always had good fun.
Photo number 2. Let's have a look at this one. This is obviously what you were just talking about. The boys in Lycra. And were you always a bike rider, or was it because of what you were supposed to do following this tour? And what is this photo? What does it depict for Mark Beretta?
That's a super special photo for me. Only taken about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's my 18-year-old son, Dan.
Wow.
And to see him actually say, "Dad, I want to come riding with you," I just went, that's a cool thing. So, and riding's such a, bloke shoulder to shoulder thing. You really get to chat, and so we've had some great times, and we're really loving it. The thing that annoys me, he looks like a professional cyclist on day one, and I look like a chubby middle-aged bloke. I'm just like, Dan, give us a break. But
kids do that to you, mate.
Kids they do, don't they? Yeah. So, but
when did your love of bike riding start?
Well, my brother bought a bike shop, so I've got 2 younger brothers. Chris, who's a plumber in Geelong, took over the family business where I should have probably been to make some money, and then Paul bought a bike shop. So when Paul bought a bike shop, I had to do the right thing and buy a bike, and I'm pretty sure I paid well over retail price for it. So, but that got me started, and I met a few mates up here in Sydney, and we started riding up the northern beaches. Yeah. And then I caught up with Tour de Cure and what they were doing, and I went to them and said, "Hey, listen, I've got this idea where I reckon if you guys want to, I can come on tour and we take Sunrise and we'll report every morning." And they were a bit nervous about that because it was only a really small charity just kicking off. And anyway, we did it, and the thing has grown to this incredible, fantastic cancer charity. And to now have the next generation of the family coming through is just, for me, that's just wow. Like, that's about as good as it gets. And to spend time with your son and when he's 18, 19 and doesn't think dad's probably the coolest bloke on earth.
Yeah, well, for what he's doing, he should.
Yeah.
The stigma of bike riders on roads these days, you know firsthand. Like, what do you cop?
I'd say it's got a lot better than it used to be, but you get weird things. Look, sometimes people don't know how to handle bikes on the road, and I get that. Not everyone's a great driver naturally, which is fair enough. But, people have trouble getting around bikes, or they'll come through a roundabout and they think they've seen you, but they haven't really seen you. They'll drive straight through, all that sort of stuff, right down to people who either abuse you or throw a carton of milk or something out. We've had all of that. That's cool. Everyone's got their own opinion, but I think 2 things are happening. I think cyclists are behaving better on the road, number one. And I think drivers are getting it too, especially in places where riders regularly go, like the northern beaches, down towards the southern part, La Perouse, southern part of Sydney, all that where regular riders, people, great space. And most riders are up, like I was this morning at 4:30 in the morning. You're off the roads, sort of by
and I think that's very sensible.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't know. I don't want to get hit by a car.
No. So you're born and bred in Melbourne?
In Geelong, south of Melbourne, yeah.
Wow, the beachside suburb of Geelong.
Yeah, the Monaco of the South.
Wow. Billy Brownless and the gang.
Yeah, correct.
And the gang.
Yeah.
So when did you come up to Sydney then? How old were you when you came to Sydney?
So I left Geelong when I was 18 to go to uni and got my first job at Hoyts Media, which was Triple M. So I worked at Triple M Melbourne for a while. Then a young kid called Eddie Maguire came along, and Eddie took me into Channel 10 in Melbourne. And then one day Channel 7 rang and said, listen, a bloke called Drew Morfitt, great commentator. Drew's retiring.
Wow.
We've got a spot here. Do you want to come over? I said, oh, you bet I do. So,
and who was that? Who asked you to do that?
Jimmy Wilson. I don't know if you're Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy and a guy called Billy Cannon.
I'm trying to get Jimmy for this.
Yeah,
and I want to get his Mrs. Barthy.
Yeah, they're good.
Them two are one of the best couple I've ever met.
Yeah,
I love them.
Yeah, and just on fire together.
Yeah,
they're a perfect couple.
So when you bike ride now, so now you're in Northern Beaches.
Yeah,
my brother-in-law's at Coleroy. What a great spot that is.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Where do you do all your bike riding? Is there select routes you take? Or?
Absolutely. So you head north. So generally go up towards the national park. So Akuna Bay, West Head, sometimes Palm Beach, up McCar's Road. So there's generally a lot of cyclists on that. And this morning went down to La Perouse, which was beautiful in the morning.
Wow.
So yeah, basically just head down the coast and find your way to La Perouse and turn around and come back. That was about 60 Ks this morning. So that was a nice little wake up ride. Yeah.
Wow. How many calories you burning?
I have no idea, but not enough, MG. They're still hanging around my tummy.
Mate, you're in great nick. Well, that's fantastic. That's a great photo of you and your young bloke, and I hope to see many more like it because is he going to go with you for the fundraiser?
I don't think this year he won't be ready, but I reckon next year for sure. And now my daughter, who's 21 and she's a paramedic, has said to me, Dad, I want to come too. So to have the two kids, that would be my dream.
That'd
be
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go to photo number 3, Marky Beretta, and this is you. Oh, my goodness. Now, I didn't know this of you. And this is when you sent these photos through to me through the week, I'm thinking, okay, well, I can't wait to hear this story because you're in your army fatigues holding a medal. What is this photo and why is it special to you, buddy?
This is my Army Reserve time, which I've kept pretty quiet, but I absolutely love. It's a great thing. That's, as you can see, I've got the crown on my chest there. So my rank is Major. And I've just received the Chief of Army Gold Commendation there for some work I did. So it's really special to me. I just find Army is an amazing organisation. And look, I'd always, when I was in year 12, I wanted to go and join Army. That was going to be my thing. And life took me a different road. About 7 or 8 years ago, I ended up in the pub in Brisbane, the James Squires pub. It's 2 a.m. We had a couple of bevies.
Oh, they call them pots up there, don't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Couple of pots.
Yep. And so I'm talking to this group of people, and turns out a couple of them are from Defence Force recruiting. And I said, oh yeah, look, I'd always wanted to join up and do something. And I said, but I'm too old now. Like I'm almost 50. And they said, no, you're good to go. Talk to you on Monday, and went through the process. Really tough, intellectual and physical profiling and testing, which I was really surprised. It was not easy to get in, especially for me. I'm not that bright, MG. So then
you're used to reading from teleprompters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was looking for the auto cue, but joined up.
That's
and
amazing.
Have loved it. It's been incredible.
What's it involve? What do you do?
So I work in a group called Public Affairs. So we're military public affairs officers, and we look after the reputation of Army. So we do liaison with media, do a lot of media training for senior officers. There are obviously, Army's a big organisation. When things go wrong, we advise on how we handle this and manage it from a media point of view. So it's in line with what I know, but it's bringing that skill to Army. And Reserve is full of a lot of people like that, a lot of professions. So solicitors, surgeons, doctors, nurses, paramedics, everything. It's virtually every profession. But Army recognises that probably the most skilled people in that speciality are outside of Army.
Okay.
So they want to bring them in. And I absolutely love it. Working in that organisation is great. And it gives you, one thing I didn't have in my head was the whole notion of service. And they talk a lot about service. And to everyone in Defence Force, service is the underlying factor. It's doing something for your country and your fellow Australian. And to me, that's just bang on. I think that's just a great thing.
Well, the first thing we think about when we think about the Army and all the other special forces is going overseas to fight. But there's so much more you can do when you join someone like this, isn't it? To help your country.
Absolutely. Look, I don't even know. There'd be a million different roles. There's everything, and it's getting more so all the time. So,
is it a paid role?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So what would you say to any, look down the camera, anyone who wants to join the Army Reserves?
If you've thought about it, go and do it. It's a really great experience. I have got much more back out of it than I put into it. You work with young, energetic people who are really passionate about not only what they do, but also about their country and their fellow Australians. And it's just a great eye-opener. It's a tremendous energy inside Army. And it's a good time. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Where do I sign up after that? Where do I sign up? I've got goosebumps.
You'd be fine. You'd be great.
That's awesome, mate.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And one of the things on this this podcast I've found is that when people bring photos to the table that they don't ordinarily show people, I reckon every person I've spoken to over the last 13, 14 months has always, I walk away going, I did not know that about them.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking now that there's people watching this or listening to you now going, far out, Mark Beretta.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about him.
Yeah. So I've been in I'm about 7 or 8 years now. And like I said, I just really enjoy it. But I've had a wonderful experience with it. I see what Army does for the country. And I get to see a snippet of the skills of people and what they do and the opportunities. And I'm sending Dan down to Defence Force recruiting just to have a look and a chat because it's a good thing. Young people are given such incredible responsibility in the Defence Force. Like I spent some time on HMAS Hobart, one of our destroyers, and that's driven by a guy and a girl in their probably 24, 25 years of age, and they're driving this multi-billion-dollar ship, and that's the sort of thing Defence gives you. Young people who are tank commanders, like they're driving these multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment. Young people sort of just in their early 20s, doing these incredible roles. Wow. And right around the world, Army trains you right around the world. And I think Army's got a presence in something like 72 nations around the world. Like there are Australian Army posts in all those different nations. So
what a discipline for you.
Huge.
I know when your year 12, when did you join the Army? Mine was police force. So I always wanted to be a policeman. And then obviously footy come along and all this type of stuff. But we were over in Hawaii recently through radio and we went to where they bombed on December 7th, which is my birthday. Yeah. What's it called again?
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And they showed us the submarines and stuff. And I got in the submarine, I went, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I had to duck.
Yeah.
Like, I said, I said, are they 4'8" or 4'6"? The people on these, they go, no, I think it's about at 5'6". You can't be any taller than back then.
Yeah.
And I think I could do anything but get in the submarine.
Yeah.
That's one thing that would spook me out a bit, I think. Yeah. So I'm a little bit claustrophobic.
Yep. Well, actually, early days I did a submarine trip out of Sydney Harbour and back. It's bizarre. The bizarre thing I found was going down through the hatch, knowing that's you're in.
And then
yeah. But once you're actually in, it's amazing how your mind adjusts to the space. And it's actually good. What about
you see my mind? You've been in my mind.
I know it's big, MG. But so you sleep. I had to sleep under a torpedo. So you sleep because we're not regular crew. So you sleep in these bunks, but this bunk was actually under a torpedo.
So how long were you in the submarine for?
Just for the day, just in and out.
So
just
still
have a
what?
Look and experience.
4 or 5 hours.
Oh, more probably more like 7 or 8. Yeah. But awesome young Australians who
more
do
power
that
to
again.
them. More power to them.
They're really, really good at what they do. And our submarine fleet is one of the best in the world. And our Army is one of the best in the world, if not currently the best in the world. We're really lucky.
You're very patriotic. I love it. Okay, competition time. We've got an exciting giveaway to announce, courtesy of our good friends at EliteBet. You and a friend could be joining us in the EliteBet corporate suite to watch the defending premiers, the Brisbane Broncos, taking on the Sydney Roosters for what will be one of the games of the season. It's round 9, Saturday night on the 2nd of May. For a chance to win, follow Life in 5 and EliteBet on social media throughout the season, and we'll be giving away a pair of tickets for every episode that drops. Stay tuned. Let's get on to photo number 4 from Marky Beretta, and this one is a beautiful one. Is this your mum?
Yeah, it is Mum, Joan. Yep.
Tell us all about your upbringing with Mum, and where's Dad in the picture?
So Dad passed away in September 28th. Yeah.
Wow.
So cancer, lymphoma.
Out. How old?
Dad was 87. So and a ripping bloke. And look, you don't realise how well connected or what great work your family's done in the community until this happens, but. Dad's funeral in St Mary's in Geelong in the cathedral there, and it was chock-a-block. It was standing room only, and Dad had done, I think, 50 years in Rotary and all these different community things. We were always, when we were growing up, it was a working bee every Saturday somewhere, whether it was Rotary or one of the sports clubs or whatever. But he was just an awesome bloke, and miss him, think of him every day.
Oh yeah.
Mum is 5 years of stage 4 ovarian cancer. But she's as tough as nails and she's battling on, and that's Christmas Day. We finished the day. She loves her Baileys. So we've had a little glass of Baileys at the end of the day. And she'll have one every night, which is great. But
yeah, good on her.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason I ride on with Tour to Cure, because I've seen, what those cures and treatments mean. Dad got probably an extra couple of years from great medical treatment. Mum's probably got 5 or 6 extra years of life, so that's the difference it makes. And I see it firsthand. So that's my motivation.
So everyone's been touched by it, by cancer.
Yeah.
And my dad in 2019 had prostate, and then the year later had bowel. Then a couple of years later had lung. Then the prostate come back, and then he just recently went to the prostate doctor and said, I'll see you in 6 months. So it's
great.
I mean, it's science and technology is on our side.
It really is.
But I lost a mate last year in July through heart disease, through a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I think if more of our blokes our age or even younger get a blood test every 6 months, it tells you 95% of what's going wrong with you.
Yeah.
And then you're on top of things. Yeah. If you don't want to be behind something that's coming to get you.
Yep.
You want to try and be, you want to keep up with it. So you go, okay, well, you're going to deal with that card.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah. And that sticking your head in the sand is the worst thing you can do. You better to know and deal with it and get it done earlier. Look, they always say that about cancer. The earlier they pick it up, the easier it is to treat, and get rid of it and get something done. And my dad was a plumber all his life. So he'd worked in his early days with asbestos.
Oh, yeah.
So he had a tinge of that in his lungs as well. So, he did well. Most of his young tradie mates had all gone. He felt very lucky that he'd got that far. But, things are changing fast. Our great Australian researchers are at the forefront of cancer research in the world. We've got some amazing things happening. I don't know if you know, MG, there's at the New Sydney Children's Hospital, there's a centre called the Minderoo Comprehensive Cancer Centre for Children.
Heard of that.
It's a world leader, it's a game changer. So for the first time, the researchers are there on the floor with the doctors treating the patients, and they're virtually instantly tailoring a treatment to a kid who's come in and needs treatment for cancer. It's mind-blowing stuff. And it's right here in Sydney. It's world leading.
What's Mum's name?
Joni.
Yeah. She looks like I'd love to have a couple of Baileys.
You would love her. You would love her, MG. She's a ripper. And she's got three sons, so she had 4 boys in the house, mate. She doesn't take any crap.
No. Was the house growing up, was there always music? What Mum do for fun?
So Mum and Dad had the plumbing business, and as you know, in small business, that's their everything. Yeah, absolutely. So it was sort of 24/7, and it was 7 days a week. And Mum would, when we were little kids, Mum would have to drive one of the big old Bedford trucks with all the plumbing gear out to meet Dad somewhere who needed to swap trucks, and the kids would be thrown in, and off we'd go, and it was a great experience.
Oh.
And Dad always had the yard sort of next to the house, so we always had the big shed and stuff to play with and stuff to destroy for Dad. But it was really, it's just a great upbringing, and we were semi-rural. We were on the edge of Geelong, so we had a bit of space and we could cause a bit of chaos, and no one really bothered.
Good.
And we always grew up with motorbikes. We loved our motorbikes as kids, but Mum and Dad were great. They just really just threw us into it, in a big way. And the 3 boys, we all it was game on.
I'm glad you brought this photo to the table because you both look so happy.
Yeah, it's pretty special to me. It's the most recent photo with Mum from Christmas Day. So, she's, as I said, she's tough as nails, MG. So she'll battle on. She could battle on for another 5 years.
Good on her.
So good on her.
Now we get to your final photo in our Life in 5, and this is it, mate. This is your why.
Yeah.
Tell us about this. You're on the set of Sunrise, and you've got a couple of kids with you. And is that a grandson I see?
I do have a grandson, MG, which is the best thing. He's the coolest little dude. So closest to us, that's Dan, my bike riding buddy.
Yep.
This is final day at Sunrise, and they brought the kids in, and that's Ava, who's 21 now. She's a paramedic. She's out and about at the moment in the Ambos around town, and hopefully not having to come and pick up her dad from a fall off the bike. And that's little Arlo, my grandson, who is just...
What's his name? Lilo?
Arlo. Yeah, Arlo.
Yeah, he's beautiful. I experienced it for the first time 15 months ago, and I just had a little girl as well.
Yeah.
So
how good is it?
Well, people tell you about it, Beretts. They say, look, before you have kids, they go, once you have kids, your life will change forever.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
And they said, but once you become a grandparent, it's so different because you get to enjoy being the parent. Because when you're a parent, you're worrying all the time. And
absolutely.
You've got the monitors on, you've got this, you've got work. Now we're back and we're kicking back. We go, okay, when can I have him? Or when can I have her?
Yeah.
And how long can I have him for? And I'll give him back to you when you want him.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
To me, it's a different kind of love. You love your kids, but for some reason, a grandchild just is like, whoa, this is amazing. So, and they're so cool. It's like it's also like getting a second chance at parenting, I reckon, too, isn't it? You know, it's you get another go. So, and
So this is obviously the last day. What over your course on Sunrise, how many hosts did you go through? How many main hosts was there, if you could think?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, question without
no, that's easy. So Georgie Gardner and I started together. Then Mel Doyle and
were you the starters of the whole Sunrise?
Koshy had done one earlier with Chris Barth, if I remember right. I think so.
Yep.
And then that was gone for maybe a year or so. Then it came back in 2000, Georgie Gardner and I. After a couple of years, Georgie took off to 9. Mel Doyle and Rizzo came in. Rizzo got sick, testicular cancer, had to step away. Koshy came in at that point, and Koshy and Mel just built this juggernaut. That was the start of Sunrise. And the Today Show, I think it had 20 years of not being beaten on air. And in that 2002, I think we took over, and that was the first year, luckily my first year in there. We went to number 1 and stayed there for 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so Koshy and Mel, then Koshy and Sam Armitage, Koshy and Nat Barr, and then Sherbo and Nat Barr were the hosts, and various news and
Nat Barr. Wow.
Yeah.
She's been doing it for ages.
She has been there a long time. She's very young, MG, obviously.
Oh, she's only 17 when she started.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean,
a ripper.
we know how the cutthroat business is of, you know, when you get up like breakfast radio, breakfast TV, especially for the girls on TV, because you imagine that they've got to get their makeup, or we got makeup as well, but on TV, but hair done, dresses done. So sometimes they've got to get up at like 2 a.m. in the morning to get this on set.
Yeah, generally an hour and a half before they're in makeup, which is incredible. And it's a bit, we probably cheat a bit, the blokes, because we're done in about 3 or 4 minutes through the makeup chair. And, exactly, you'll do.
Especially if you're bald.
And no one really cares how we look, so that's fine. So,
that's true.
But the girls is tough, and Nat's been doing that a long time now. She's a ripper.
Yep.
I've worked with some amazing people.
And what about how did you get on with the Today guys? With Carl and was there a mutual respect? Was there a mutual respect there for it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And more so now. I think there was a fierce competitive rivalry between the two, in a major way.
Because who was against you when you started on Today?
Gosh, who was there?
Steve Liebman? Was he?
Yeah, it was Stephen Tracy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then
Tracy
Steve
Grimshaw.
retired. Yeah. So, but there's always been that rivalry. It's been
It's like radio. Like when I do,
Yeah.
you see, obviously ratings are a big part of our lives.
Yeah.
But you also have this hidden respect for people who do the same thing you
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
Because you know how hard they're doing it.
Yeah, and look, I'd call Carl a mate these days. He's a good, really good bloke, and
Champion bloke.
He sent me one of the loveliest messages when I was leaving, and also Tom Malone, who is there at the network. He sent me one of the nicest messages. So to get that from your opposition, to get a nice word I think is really pretty special.
Now it's time for, but wait, there's more. Brought to us by our great mates at Elite Bet. Now, these are kind of, pretty quick questions, but they obviously are without notice. So what's the biggest wow moment you've ever had working in the media?
I've got to go way back to the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games. And Jimmy Wilson and I were the rostered on overnight guys. So we were going to do the graveyard shift on the Olympics, which is cool. That was an honour in itself. But then Tracy Holmes couldn't do her role, and Jimmy and I got called up to fill in there. So we got
Like
prime time.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the night, by absolute fluke, the night that I was on was that 25th of September, the night of Kathy Freeman's race, and I think one of the most watched nights in Australian television ever. And I was still a young bloke, and I was hosting it, and I'm just going, this is the wow, this is as good as it gets. So my career peaked 25 years ago, and that was just an awesome moment.
Now it's enjoying the fruits, baby. How often does your Army Reserve training come into play working in the media?
I reckon a lot. I think it...
Because of the discipline, do you think?
I think that, and I also think it gives you a bigger perspective on the world. I know things from my work in Army Reserve about what's happening around the world, and I think you just have a better balance of people. You learn a little bit more about...
Yeah.
You also learn a lot about your own performance, what you can do, what you're capable of. I've been able to do, and, Army doesn't cut you any slack.
No.
You put the uniform on, you're in and you're...
Doesn't matter who you are.
No. So I've done all the training courses. I've done all the PT tests. Have to do an annual PT test every year to make sure you're still fit and ready to go. Medicals.
Which contains what?
You got it to, I can't
Is
remember
there,
the
is
exact
there a
numbers
beep
now.
test or something you got to do?
There's a beep test initially. Now it's about a 2.5K run, 2.4K
What do
run.
you do that in?
Oh, I can't remember. I think it was about probably 14 minutes last time.
Because we had to
12,
do
14.
that when I played for Penrith, when Tim Sheens was coach. The forwards had to do it in 10.5,
Yeah.
and the backs had to do it in 9.
That's flying.
And
yeah.
Daryl Broman, who is
Yeah.
my main man, and Brad Izzard
Yeah.
were the only two who weren't, and we were kind of pushing them around the Howell Oval there to try and get them to the 2.5 time trial. They are the killers, man.
Yeah, brutal. So it's push-ups, number of push-ups, that run, and sit-ups. They're the three.
okay.
Every year you've got to hit those, and they're the minimum. And then special forces is another level again of what you've got to do.
Forget
But, yeah. So I've done a bit of training with those guys. The guys out at 2 Commando at Holsworthy and SAS in Perth, they blow me away.
Next level.
They're just amazing people. That's the best way, and they're modest and they just get on with it.
Well, I've got a gym in Penrith, and
Fantastic. Gym.
my 4:45 class AM is the most frequented. I go, how can this be so? Well, that's when they do their thing.
Yeah.
These people are special.
Yeah.
They need to be in there.
That's right.
To get their day going.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
It's a great thing about Army too. Army is you do PT every morning. That's just compulsory. So,
Yeah.
and it's a good thing. It's a good lesson in life.
You've interviewed some sporting legends over your career. Who surprised you the most, but in a good way?
I'm going to say Ash Barty. Ash Barty, to me, has a mind so far ahead of her age. She just thinks incredibly about the world and people and somehow has this amazing grasp on life and family and the importance of that. And I think
What an Aussie she is.
Oh, she's remarkable.
Isn't she good?
Yeah. She'd be a great Prime Minister one day, MG. But
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's great. But I think just her whole... We saw it in the way she came to cricket, stepped away from cricket, was able to step away from tennis. She's just got a good handle on what life's about, And
It always seems to be on her terms, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't pander to the
Yeah.
left or right or middle. She just goes, I'm Ash Barty and I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah. And despite her incredible success, still amazingly modest.
Yeah.
She just treats everyone. I've seen her, just spend hours with people post-match, just chatting and signing autographs and things. To me,
love to meet
she's
her.
awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to meet her.
You would love her. She's great. Well, we'll get her on the podcast.
Please.
Okay.
Ash, come on. Have you ever had a moment working on Sunrise that completely caught you off guard live on air? Like, was there something that happened live that you went, oh my goodness, I split my pants, or
Can I have two?
the zipper fell down or something?
The first one was one morning we're working away and we're live on air and there's this enormous bang in the studio, right? And it was just like, whoa, what happened? Koshy thought it was a gunshot. So
He ducked.
He's actually gone under the desk. So there's at the time there was Mel Doyle, Nat Barr and I.
They're after me! Hit the deck!
We're all just sitting there like, it's good to know Koshy would take a bullet for us.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's out of there. But the other one, on a serious note, I think for all of us who worked that morning, the Lint Cafe,
Oh, my
sees
goodness.
just will always just stay in our minds. That morning was incredible, and the background to that was Man Monis. That on our Channel 7 CCTV, he was there from 8 in the morning up and down the front of Channel 7. There was a lot of talk at the time that he was actually targeting 7, that he was going to come into 7, but our security sort of made him think twice. So he went across the road. But then I remember the morning, we'd been out the front after Sunrise finished. We used to go out the front in Martin Place and we'd talk to people, say good day, have photos, that sort of thing. So at about the time we were just finishing up there, he's gone in and it's all gone down at the Lint Cafe, and it was just a horrific time. And to watch that all unfold on our desks upstairs, that's where the police snipers were set up ready to take the shot. And and I'd just never forget that. I remember Nat knew one of the ladies who lost her life, and she just had real trouble with that whole period, and it was just an incredible time. It was it'll never leave us, I don't think.
No, it was massive. I remember how big it was, and that's probably answers you the fifth and final question. Have you covered a story over the years that stuck with you more than you would have liked, or more than you expected?
Yeah, it's probably that one. I think it's things like bushfires as well. Often we're live on air and we're dealing with it as it's happening. So that it's not that it's PTSD or anything like that, but it does.
No.
It impacts you. You know, when you see people, you talk to people, you're part of their stories, and they're a part of your memory forever. So
It's very similar. I remember being on Brekkie Radio, and we had that. We had the Link Cafe was massive. We had a bloke in a kid in a bubble or something. Do you remember something like that?
I remember this, yeah.
Then you just kind of, it was everyone, the whole world was fascinated by this guy getting,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about, but anyway, but yeah, there's some of the stories that we've seen is,
Yeah. And the New South Wales bushfires when
and I was out at Winmalee one morning, covering it.
And when the Navy pulled up and all you could see was it was like the ghost ship, in the smoke. It was incredible. And, what they did there was phenomenal. But, hats off to, now my daughter's involved in emergency services, but to the police and the fireys and the AMBOs and Defence Force, everyone who steps up in those times, mate, I take my hat off to them, MG. They are awesome.
Well, I take my hat off to you because I hope the next stage of your life has been so good. It will be as good as this stage has been to you as well, because you've been a fantastic bloke. There's not one bloke in the media, not one lady in the media who I've ever heard say a bad word about you. You're just a lovely bloke, and I thank you today for being on Life in 5. And thanks to Lily Pilly Wines, got a nice little Shiraz and a Sauv Blanc. Ever in Leeton, look out for Lily Pilly Wines.
Thank you, mate.
Mark Beretta.
That is awesome.
Thanks for being on Life in 5, brother.
That's more than I got when I was leaving Channel 7. So thanks, MJ.